everybody. This is Perch. I once again had to restart the video recording because I'm getting a few minutes into it, and then suddenly my stereo decides to just start playing. I think I had my phone plugged in, and then it was paused on my phone. I popped it out, so the radio starts blasting. And for the love of God, I mean, people are aware there's music other than Harry Styles, right? I mean, there is other things that people make. You don't have to play that same effing song over and over and over again. I mean, Jesus Christ, are we really getting him a Star Fox? Is he going to actually show up and do stuff in a movie? And anyway, sorry. Here's a viewer mail. It says female supervillains in Captain Marvel. All right, I have a feeling you're about to tie those two together, but let's see where this one goes. It says, "Hey Perch, with all the outcry for more representation in superhero media, one area you never hear anybody talk about is the world of supervillains. I legitimately have a hard time thinking of any real iconic female supervillains that are still treated like villains, I should add. Of course, when you think of women villains, names like Harley Quinn, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Mystique all come to mind, but nowadays they're either written as anti-heroes, misunderstood, or just straight up heroes, like in the case of Mystique in the later X-Men movies. The Mystique in the X-Men movies was a completely different character, but the Mystique in the comics is also doing you're supposed to feel sympathetic for her. Emma Frost, kind of same thing going on there. I don't know. I guess Moira, but she's like part robot now, right? So I mean, do robots have genders? Can a robot be non-binary? Huh? That's a techie dad joke there. That's what you got. Anyway, the important questions on the Perch Show. All right, back to the mail. It said, sure, there are others like Enchantress or Cheetah, but none of them come close to as iconic as the likes of Joker, Luthor, Doctor Doom, or Thanos. The last truly big one I can think of was probably Dark Phoenix, which leads me to my ultimate point. I agree with the point that Carol Danvers is the Roman Reigns of Marvel, and I kind of jive with the idea that the way to salvage her character is the same way they salvaged Roman Reigns. That's a WWE character, if you're not familiar. Anyway, turn her heel. As a hero, I think it's fair to say that Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, has not connected to the audiences in ways she could have, and worse yet, the character is tainted by all the controversy and political BS surrounding her. So maybe the key to saving her would be to make her into a villain, a real threatening one that truly puts the Marvel Universe in peril. Play off her heat and make her as nasty and brutal as possible so readers actually take her seriously. I don't actually expect them to ever actually do this for a number of obvious reasons, but one way I think they could validate it against any impending backlash, that this is, you're going in a different direction than I was going to go, so, but close, almost the same, would be to use Carol's heel turn to push Monica Rambeau and even have her face Carol to reclaim the Captain Marvel name. They can brag about having a prominent female villain, at the same time elevate a new female hero. Bonus points, it's a person of color one. I don't know about you, but that sounds like a Mania level match. I'm done playing Armchair Booker for now. What do you think, Perch? Think it could sell? Well, okay, so there's probably two different answers if we're talking the comics or the movies. Okay, so in the comics, it could work. I think your route with the comics would probably be they'd want to elevate Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. They could also elevate Monica Rambeau or elevate both. But in the comics, the thing is we've seen heel turns. Although in fairness, we haven't really seen it in a while. We've seen characters kind of brainwashed. Iron Man in Axis and Captain America when the whole Secret Invasion kind of thing went on, or Secret Empire, sorry. Cyclops, they sort of did a heel turn, but let's all face it, Cyclops was right. No, I mean they've done them, but it's not like some of the old heel turns. You could do it in comics, and but I don't know that it would really matter. Meaning, if you did it in the comics, I don't know that it would particularly move comics. Like if Carol was suddenly a big villain and you did a summer event where Carol is trying to, I don't know, destroy the Marvel Universe or something like that, I think comic readers would pretty much be just waiting to see, like, how is she going to come out of it at the end? Is there going to be a time travel or mind wipe? Or, I mean, for that matter, you got Professor X just running around. Technically, I know that don't interfere in anyone's personality and soul nonsense, but If you've got a mass murdering kind of character, Professor X could just go in there and just change personality. So could Emma Frost. So could a number of different characters, but be that as it may. In the comics, I don't know that it would do much. Now, in the movies, on the other hand, the movies probably would be pretty interesting. I think Brie Larson would never want to do it. I think there would be, I don't know, people would be irritated, but it would be a legitimate kind of shocker to movie going audiences, to that kind of normie audience, if suddenly you had Captain Marvel in, say, the Marvels movie that's coming out, um, go evil. Like she determines, and it'd be really easy to do. By the way, she's been flying around the galaxy. She's like, she almost gets to do kind of a Thanos type approach, which is like, this is the only way it works. This is how it has to be. I've been all around the galaxy, and this is a solution, kind of a very non-human solution. And you would have a major villain on your hands that could pop up in movies every now and then. You could kind of build some stuff up like they did with Thanos, and probably get some big attention. If you did do the thing with Monica Rambeau and probably Kamala Khan and a couple others, this will be in that Marvels movie, I'm assuming. If you did that, it would, I'm sure some people would bitch like, oh, here we go again. Every villain has to be a woman. That would be like the article headline, which, is, and then they'd show like clips of, Hela and Ghost from, like they'd very strategically go around the Marvel movies and take various things completely out of context, and suddenly, like, remember when Taskmaster and Black Widow was revealed, and they're like, oh, this was a stunning reveal that fought against the patriarchy, and just some other stuff like that, and suddenly though it would flip. It's like, hey, remember when they have the sinister villain killing people, and of course they have to make it a woman because everybody hates women. It'd be funny how that would flip. And when I say funny, I mean kind of painful and stupid, and we'd all hate it. But I think you could pull it off in the movies, and I think it'd be a decent surprise in the movies. Make Captain Marvel a villain. They need more villains. Have her, join up with Kang. Have her get, tempted by Doctor Doom, or whatever you're going to do in some of these movies. Go for it. Hell, you want to complete this? This will like thoroughly piss off both comic people, all kinds of people. If you really want to go for it, and you do not care about comic continuity, as clearly as we're seeing with Namor and kind of other things in the movies, then have Carol get injured. You see where I'm going with this? Have her get like some facial scarring, and then she becomes Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's now a woman, and it's Carol. She's flying around shooting. No, that's a terrible idea. Anyway, you get the idea. I think it could work. I think that, but quite frankly, I think Disney thinks that there's still plenty of money in Captain Marvel, and there probably is. I think you've probably got a couple movies where you can have Brie Larson fly around and people will pay for it, and everything else. I would love to know the backstory and the thought process behind the Marvels, the truthful one. Not the YouTube conspiracy theory one, but the truthful one. So you had Captain Marvel, the movie, and Captain Marvel made $1 billion. And then, there were plenty of people who said, Disney actually paid for half those tickets. There were a couple of people, I was on some live streams, I remember, and there's one guy who's like, Disney paid for 80% of those tickets. They had an insider source that told them that Disney secretly paid for 800 million of the $1 billion. Which was absolutely absurd on every level. I'm sorry. I know that there's anecdotal people who said, "Yeah, I went into a theater and it said it was sold out, but then I went in there and it was not sold out." And I agree. That's dodgy. That's weird. It could be the result of a stupid theater. It could be the result of them reserving seats, believing that it was going to do more than it did. Could be a number of things. The idea that Disney was shuttling money into the theaters, just to run in empty. It just we've done that video before. It's highly unlikely, and it is one of those things that, given Disney, given their place, given the fact that they're an entertainment company, shuttling money in that for no product would basically be a massive violation that would get them into severe trouble. That is against the law. Not that people don't do things to break the law, but it's just unlikely. The fact they got all that money, I think, to me, if you're looking for a reason of why it made what it made, but people didn't like it. If that's your belief, I think it has a whole lot more to do with the fact that it was the movie that came out right before, the Avengers Endgame, and we knew that Carol was teased in that, and in the Avengers Infinity War, and anyway, we knew that stuff was coming. So I think that has a lot more to do with it. It was piggybacking on the success of what was a decade of buildup of movies. So that has a lot to do with it, and then people are just really into Marvel. But anyway, Disney still believes that there's more money in Captain Marvel, and so if they do, the idea to say, hey, let's take this character off the table and make her a villain, probably, unlikely. Unlikely that they would view it as, that would be giving money away, and it would be, I think that's a solid argument too. But hell, I would enjoy seeing it. It would be fun. I think, again, in the comics, I think the impact would be lesser, just because, like all the others, most people would be just sitting around waiting for it to be reversed. Um, in the movies, you genuinely shock people, and that'd be cool. So, hey, I guess you got that in your pocket. Once you've worked your way through Kang and whatever you're doing in phase 6, when you get to about phase 12, you could have the Captain Marvel heel turn and, all the rest. I do still think the Roman Reigns analogy is probably the best one you can pull out. But anyway, there you go. Let me know what you think of the reader's idea or the listener's idea, or my idea, or whatever you want. And thanks for listening.